Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
What is going on, everybody? I go by RB, and this is Philly Take with RB. If you guys are excited to watch some Philadelphia 76ers playoff basketball, smash that like button. And if you are new and want to stay updated on some great Philly content, well, be sure to hit that subscribe. So we're back into the Sixers groove now. We made a video yesterday talking about the final 8 games of the regular season and a potential first round playoff matchup. Go ahead and check that out if you have not yet. And today I want to talk about the playoff rotation. Now, there is a lot to go into this, and first off, I want to say we are going to talk about what I believe the Sixers playoff rotation should be, and then we will talk about what I believe it will be, because let me tell you, those are two distinct things. But first off, what I want to say, and this kind of echoes what I was talking about yesterday. Guys, this is going to be so essential for Brett and these guys to culminate and get something going in these 8 regular season games when we come back to play. Because, like I said, we are already clinched, right? We're in the top 6. All top 6 teams have already clinched a playoff spot. So now we got to find our groove. Let me tell you, the chemistry between teams, the connection, just that momentum is going to be gone. That is what needs to be established in the 8 games that we come back. And I'm really looking forward to seeing who plays, how long they play, what kind of different things will Brett Brown do to get this team going. But first off, a couple months back, I think it was in like February, Brett Brown talked about the playoff rotation and said that when we get to the playoffs, he wants to bring it down to a 9-man rotation, which is what he usually does. I'm pretty sure that's what he did last year for the most part after the first series against Brooklyn. You know, obviously there will be a couple extra guys that might play garbage minutes, but overall we know the rotation, right? The guys that are getting actual serious minutes, and he wants to bring it down to 9. A lot of teams usually do that. They limit it to 8, 9, 10 people maybe, just to get their best players in, get the most value out of a playoff series, you know? Now, in the Sixers situation, guys, I'm going to go a little bit different. I think that the Sixers need to hold 11 guys. We're going to go through it. The reason I believe we need more is because last year, right, what was our biggest issue? Depth. Big men. We needed another big man. Joel was not healthy. Boban couldn't step in and do the job. Greg Monroe couldn't step in and do the job. So what did we do this offseason? We got that insurance premium, right? We got Al Horford. But there's one thing. We didn't get enough shooting. We lost shooting. We lost Jimmy Butler and JJ Redick. And this season, there have not been those consistent shooters all season for the Sixers. And we're going to need a lot of guys. Like I say, guys, in the playoffs, play gets maximized in the half court. It really does. Things get slowed down, and maybe this will help the Sixers because our identity is supposed to be that smash mouth, bully ball type of team, right? But I just have a feeling especially with some of the matchups that we're probably going to end up playing, like the Celtics or the Heat, those coaches understand what needs to be done against the Sixers. They are going to load the paint and push us outside to the wing, to the key at the top, everywhere. They are going to push us out and rely on the Sixers to see if we can handle ourselves shooting the ball. Now, like I'm saying, guys, we have not done that consistently this season, not by any means at all. So we're going to have to step up and shoot the ball better. There are a few nights where we cannot miss, but there are some nights where nobody can make a basket. Now, in the playoffs, I believe our starting 5 should be Ben Simmons, Josh Richardson, Glenn Robinson III, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid. Now, I know a lot of people are going to get on me and say, what about Shake Milton? What about Shake? He was shooting the ball crazy. Okay, guys, listen. Shake Milton is 23. He is young and inexperienced. He had a great stretch. He did, games like the ones he had against the Clippers. Like, he was just going off. But then what happened after that? He started to fizzle out a little bit, and it wasn't really his fault. It's just guys went down. We didn't have other shooting around him. So what did teams do? They adjusted. They put more pressure on Shake, and they weren't really letting him get to his spot. So I understand it. Shake to me, is a vital part of this rotation, and I just don't think he should start. I think he should be one of the main guys off that second unit, and I'm hoping that he can step in and shoot because, like I said, I don't know who it's going to come from for the majority, but we are going to need shooting. So I would keep Shake on the bench. I just think he's a little young and he hasn't been in a playoff series. Let him get his feet under him in the playoffs. Let him come off the second unit. So there's one. Shake should come off the bench. I think as well on the bench, we need to have Matisse Thybulle. Obviously, he hasn't shot as well as he has after the injury, but the defense, we need it, okay? The way this kid plays, sees plays before they even happen, we need that. Obviously, we need Al Horford on the bench, right? He's the insurance premium for Joel Embiid, and he's the guy, when Joe comes off the rest, Al's going to have to step in and be that man. Not really what we've seen this year. He's going to have to be playoff Al Horford, the one that locked Embiid up a couple years ago. That is what we need. So that's 8 guys right there. I think we should also keep Furkan Korkmaz on the roster. And 2 more, I think we should keep Alec Burks, a key veteran who can shoot the ball, right? I don't want to hear all this crap. He came over from the Golden State Warriors. He was playing like 30 minutes a game. What was he playing? I have it up here. 30 minutes a game. And he comes here and he's playing 20 minutes a game. That cannot happen. All right, he went from shooting 38% to 32%. Just in the time he was with the Sixers. There's no reason him and Glenn Robinson III should be playing much better on the Golden State Warriors than the Sixers, okay? But Alec Burks needs to play minutes. Glenn Robinson III needs to play minutes. He was shooting 40%, comes to the Sixers. He's shooting 28%. Cannot happen. But guess what? He went from playing 32 minutes a game down to 19. That cannot happen. Over these 8 games, Brett has to give these guys who he expects to be in the rotation substantial minutes, give them time to get their feet under them. It's not going to happen like magic. You can't bring them back, let a guy play 30 minutes one game, and the next game he's playing 12 minutes. I've seen it down the stretch before the season got suspended. I saw it with Matisse. I saw it with Glenn Robinson III, Alec Burks. No, give them the minutes. Let them get their forms back under them. They have to play. But I think Alec Burks, given his veteran experience and the fact that he can shoot the ball, he needs to step up and he needs to be on that playoff rotation. So that's 9 guys right there. So on the bench, we got Matisse, Al, Alec Burks, Furkan, Shake. I already said that's 10. And then I do believe the Sixers should keep one more as a depth piece for the big man role, because I don't know that Joel Embiid is going to stay perfectly healthy. We saw last year, right? I don't know that Al Horford is going to stay perfectly healthy. He's had a few minor injuries this year. I say it would be either between Kyle O'Quinn and Mike Scott. Overall, I'll go with Mike Scott just because I've seen him play, a smaller role this year. He hasn't been the same bench piece, whatever you want to call it, as he's been the last couple years. He hasn't even been close. But for a couple games, he was able to find that fire, kind of find his rhythm, and he can knock it down. Like I said, we're going to need excess shooting. So I'll go with Mike Scott, but Kyle O'Quinn would be the same for me. I think either would be a great 11th piece to the roster. What are the Sixers going to do? What is Brett Brown going to do? Guys, I am so scared. Let me tell you, I am nervous inside. I don't think Brett is going to do the right thing. Here's what I believe Brett is going to do. We're going to come back, and through the 8 games and through the playoffs, this is going to be the rotation. Ben Simmons, Josh Richardson, Tobias Harris, and it hurts me to say, but Al Horford and Joel Embiid on the floor together starting. And playing substantial minutes together. I see it happening, and it hurts because it took 55 games to figure it out. And he finally did it, and it worked. But after the injuries, and with the way we were left off with that last game with Al and Joel playing well together against the Pistons, Brett will be fooled, and I believe he will play these guys together. The 4-forward lineup, as I call it. I can see it happening, but let me tell you guys, and we'll talk about key points to the Sixers being successful during this run in another video, but what I will say, just to foreshadow that, the Sixers cannot play Al Horford and Joel Embiid on the floor together. They cannot do it if we want to be successful, but we'll get to that anyway. In the playoffs, I think those will be the starting 5, and I do think Brett doesn't really like to go against his word that much. I think he's going to narrow it down to a 9-man rotation and maybe a 10. Maybe we start off with 10, 11 guys, but when the key situations come against these crazy teams, I think he's going to narrow it down. I think on the bench he'll have Glenn Robinson III, Alec Burks for veteran experience, Furkan Korkmaz, and maybe Matisse Thybulle, or maybe one of the big depth guys that I talked about, like Mike Scott. I have a feeling, guys, Brett Brown does not like to play youth in the playoffs, and it scares me because we need Matisse Thybulle's input. We need his, just how his intelligence about the game of basketball, maybe pick off a pass in the half court and take it all the way and throw it down. Or Shake Milton. We are high on Shake Milton. Maybe he comes in and these guys aren't really ready for him again, right? Maybe they don't have enough on Shake and he comes in and he's lighting it up from 3-point range. We need excess shooting. We need to keep more guys on this roster. It is unconventional. I agree. We have too many big men. We don't have enough shooting. Furkan, like I said, he can heat up and be the man. He can be the man. But some games, if he starts off 0 for 7, and this is a big adjustment I want to see from Brett, he waits too long to adjust. He waits too long to take guys out. If Furkan comes in a playoff game, and he's 0 for 5, get him off the court. Do not bring him back in. It is not his night. You just have to understand those things as the coach of the Sixers. Coaching matters, guys. These rotations are key. I mean, look at the Toronto series last year, Game 7. The way that the guys were managed, the last 5 minutes of that game were terribly coached. We cannot have that. Alec Burks, is he going to step up? He might, but I don't know. Is Brett going to give him substantial minutes? Is he going to give him what he needs? I don't know. Glenn Robinson III has looked like a tragedy with the Sixers. It's not all his fault, but are these guys going to have, methods to get open? Is there going to be a good strategy implemented? I can't see guys sitting on their own island doing nothing. There must be movement. That is what we'll get into probably in a couple days, guys. But overall, we need to keep excess shooters. We need to keep Thybulle, Burks, Korkmaz, Shake Milton, because one night, one of those guys could heat up and be the difference. And I'm not expecting any of those guys to show up every night shooting the ball consistently. And I hope that we keep more guys. Like I said, I want an 11-man playoff rotation, and we need to bring Al off the bench and maybe save another big man depth piece like Mike Scott or Kyle O'Quinn. That is just my opinion, guys. I think the Sixers should roll with an 11-man playoff rotation. You guys let me know your thoughts down below. What should the Sixers do come playoff time? How many guys should we keep? What should the rotation look like? The starting lineup, what should it look like? Let me know all your guys' thoughts down below. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Perfect.